Okay, so I'm really excited about today because we have our classic question revisited. Okay, so the question is defining Teshuvah and Teshuvah Gemurah according to the Rambam. Okay, now by show of hands, who has looked at those definitions this year? Yeah, good. All right, so you don't answer yet. Oh, sorry. This, like, let's say the last couple of months. No, okay. So what is your recollection? This is always a fun thing. What is your recollection of the definition of Teshuvah Gemurah according to the Rambam? Okay, so Chaim says is that God testifies he'll never do it again. Again, that's definition of Teshuvah Gemurah. Okay, anyone else?
I think I forgot that point, so maybe that comes after the point that I thought it was.
Yeah.
What I thought it was when you have the situation arise,
yes,
either literally or not, depending if it was like liquid or something, and you don't take the opportunity to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so you are half right.
Okay.
You are entirely wrong, and the reason why I'm saying that is because what you quoted is part of the definition, but of regular Teshuvah, not of Teshuvah Gemurah. And but the thing is that I think a lot of people, I've had so many people who have asked this question to give that definition, that people I think are under the impression Teshuvah Gemurah is when like the Teshuvah is so solid that you actually never do it again. But according to the Rambam, and then Chaim's quoting like the way the Rambam phrases it is that God testifies about you that you'll never do it again, you know. But according to the Rambam, that's part of basic Teshuvah. Okay, which is a little scary, but you know, now Chaim got is that the situation, you come to the same situation and you don't do it again, right? Why did I say you're half right? Did you say something else? What say the way you said it again? Oh yeah, you're half right because even that is not enough. Okay. Anyone else have any recollections for or what about this? Well, anyone remember? Want to volunteer? If I ask you, what are the steps of regular Teshuvah?
Recognizing the sin.
Okay.
Then charata.
Okay. I'm not. When I say okay, I'm not approving. I'm just acknowledging. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So recognizing the sin, regretting the sin.
Yeah.
Then I guess. Oh, we have to verbally say. That
okay.
Might be the first step. Honestly, I don't know.
Okay.
What's the second step? Some of those.
You're both wrong, but yeah. Yeah.
I don't know what the order. I mean, I know what the things are. I know what the order is.
Okay. Regret on what you understand, yeah. Accepting not to do it again. Okay. Okay, video. So video is the last step. Okay, that is true. Okay. Good. I'm glad we're reviewing. Okay. Yeah. No, you did. Well, one's not a fake step. There's one that is kind of goes without saying, but I still like saying it. Recognizing the sin. Yeah.
I remember one of them that one.
Yeah, that's correct. Okay, yeah. Okay, so let's let's actually see the order now. Okay, now this is why you got to go through every year, and this year, you know, I'm seeing new things this year than I've seen in the past. Okay, so this is in the second parak of Hilchos Teshuvah in the Rambam. Okay, Ezohi Teshuvah Gemurah. All right, now several weird things about that.
Yeah, why don't you start with Teshuvah stop?
Okay, to me, this is the biggest question this year, at least, which I've had the question before, but I haven't actually worked on it. Why, did I mention this already last week? Okay, I don't know. Why doesn't he start with what is Teshuvah? Yeah, I did mention this. Okay, yeah. So it gets, and I think I give this the same analogy, but I'll repeat it again. Like, if you said, what's the best way to do the mitzvah of lulav? And you said to wave it in the 4 directions. And then you said, well, what is lulav? And you said, well, you take 4 species and then you create tzadar, a couple of sperm, et cetera, and then you lift them. That's just that's an illogical order, you know? So illogical, yeah. But then there's a second thing I noticed only this morning. So I translated this as Ezohi Teshuvah Gemurah, right? What is Teshuvah Gemurah? That's not actually a good translation. What's the precise translation?
What is this?
No.
Oh, so
What's Azo?
This is.
Nope.
This.
Nope. Which? Okay. Which is Teshuvah Gemurah? Okay. So that's really weird. Okay. Which is Teshuvah Gemurah? As if there are, which kind of implies there are multiple Teshuvah Gemurahs, and which one is Teshuvah Gemurah? Okay.
Multiple Teshuvah Gemurahs.
Multiple Teshuvahs, multiple types of Teshuvah. Yeah.
Can you repeat again how he starts? Like the first question.
Azo hi Teshuvah Gemurah. Which one is Teshuvah Gemurah? Okay. So now he says like this. Okay. Now I also thought his answer is you find yourself in the same situation and you don't do it again. Okay. And I realized this morning for the first time in 21 years of doing this, that's not what he says. Okay. He says, Ze sheba liado davar she'avar bo. Okay. The efshar las biado lasos upirish velo asa mipnei teshuvah. Okay. So this is, the thing that he sinned with comes into his hand, okay, meaning not literally into his hand, but like he has the opportunity. The efshar biado lasos, and he can do it, he can act. Uferish v'lo asa mipnei ha-teshuvah, and he separates and doesn't do it because of the teshuvah. Now that's even weirder that he hasn't defined teshuvah yet, right? What is like already like pretend you don't know, pretend you're a total like either ignoramus, non-Jew, someone who's not familiar with teshuvah, and I say. And I just say, hey, which one's the complete teshuvah? You know, you'd be like, what is he talking about? And I say, oh, that's if the thing comes to your hand and you don't do it because of the teshuvah.
Actually, you can't use the same word.
Yeah, it's even and he already. It's just a weird thing. Okay.
It's also strange that he says that you don't do it because of the teshuvah, not because it's a sin.
Yes, correct, right? He refrains from doing it because of the teshuvah. Lo mi-yira v'lo mi-kishlon koach, not out of fear and not out of lack of ability or weakness. Okay, so that's also another weird thing. Okay, what exactly are the options here? So it sounds like it's like at least three options. You could either refrain because of the teshuvah, or refrain because of the yira and because of the kishlon koach. Yeah.
So if you can, you refrain from because of yira. Are you not able to do Teshuvah Gemurah?
Say it again.
If you can, would refrain because of yira. Are you not able to do Teshuvah Gemurah?
Yeah, it's the question I think is which one is actually moving you to not do it, or which one's moving you to separate.
And if both move you,
it sounds like you can't have both. It sounds like it's going to be either teshuvah or one of these ulterior motives. Yeah.
To clarify,
yeah,
if you never have to do teshuvah on the thing in the first place, it was never had a problem with. Then obviously you would. Well, one, is it implying that you wouldn't? Then when you're not doing it, refraining, it's not from Teshuvah Gemurah because there's no. And then second, would then it be from Yira?
Okay, so so this is I was debating this morning with my Charusa. Is I think that there are three scenarios you could talk about here. Okay, first scenario is the guy does teshuvah, he gets in the situation again and he refrains because of teshuvah. Okay, second scenario is the guy does teshuvah, he gets into the scenario again, but he refrains because of fear or weakness. Okay, so he did teshuvah, but he's refraining because of fear or weakness. And then the third one is the guy didn't do teshuvah, he gets into the scenario and he refrains because of fear or weakness.
What do you mean by weakness?
Like lack of ability to do it. Like the case that the Rambam was about to give, which is
scared for like a
no, like let's say like he physically can't do the Avera anymore. Mm-hmm. Let's say like he had Bia and like now he's 120 years old and he can't do it anymore, right? So but you can yeah, that's the example the Rambam gives. Yeah, Kiva. He doesn't have 20.
Not doing teshuvah, and then he gets in the situation and then he doesn't want to do it because of teshuvah sounds scary.
Because teshuvah sounds scary.
I don't want to have to do.
No, he's not doing it. No. The yira is yira of like, yeah. What is the yira of? Yeah, some sort of punishment or consequence. Like the cops are going to get you, or God's going to punish you. Yeah.
Big process or something, so he doesn't want to do that.
No, this is a guy who has already done teshuvah.
So you don't know it's like, that's why. Why is he refraining?
So you're asking a good, yeah, because that's the most fundamental question. What does it mean that he refrains because of the teshuvah? Yeah, and it's kind of hard to answer that without defining teshuvah first, right? That's part of the problem. Okay, but you're asking the good question.
Because of the prior teshuvah.
Yeah, because of the prior teshuvah. Yeah.
Exactly that.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, Chaim?
I kind of thought maybe on thinking it now in the area, but you have some understanding of what the problem is with the fight.
One would hope, right? But we haven't read the definition of Teshuvah yet. Yeah, let's get the rest of the facts for Teshuvah Gemurah first. Yeah.
But just to clarify about the scenarios.
Yeah.
My question was like basically to kind of to Yosef's question.
Yeah.
Once you've done Teshuvah.
Yeah.
Up until that point, you had the option to refrain from Europe, but now that you've gone through the phase of Teshuvah, that's no longer how you would relate to any of the area that you refrain from.
Well, no, but you still you can still relate to it out of Yira.
Even after you've done.
Yeah. That's why he's saying that if let's walk through the example, okay? Ketzad. Now, this again, to my mind, I did what you did, which is I merged the definition of Teshuvah Gemurah and the example of Teshuvah Gemurah. Okay, so the first one was the definition of Teshuvah Gemurah is you find yourself with the thing that you sinned with, and you refrain because of the Teshuvah. Ketzad, what would be an example of that? Hari Shaba'al Isha Bavera. He had relations with a woman in sin. And afterwards, Nisyachet Ima. He became secluded with her. We're going to be done the Kaf Sechus and say that like it wasn't his choice to be in seclusion with her, because then that's another like Avera, and you got compounded problems. I think I'm not that bothered by it. I'm saying like, yeah, he finds himself, it's like the elevator door shut, and then she presses the emergency button, and now suddenly you're in Yichud, right? V'hu omid ba'avasoba, and he's still remaining with his love of her. Okay, he still loves her. Uvakoach gufa, and he has the bodily ability. Yeah, and that's why I was saying that's the wrong case. Uva medina shavarba, and he is in the same location that he sinned in. Okay, the same country. Upirish v'lo asa, and he's avar, and he separates and does not transgress. Zebal hu bal Teshuvah Gemurah. That is a person who has done Teshuvah Gemurah. Hu sheshlomo omer. This is what Shlomo HaMelech means when he says, "Uzachoras borecha b'mei b'chorosacha." Remember your Creator in the days of your youth. Ad asher lo yavo yimei harav higiu shanim asher tomar ein libahem chayfetz. Now remember your Creator in the days of your youth, before the days of badness come, when the years arrive about which you will say, "I have no desire in them." Okay, which I want to. Maybe tomorrow look at those psukim in context, because that's a whole thing. He's going to get back to those psukim in a second. Yeah, I think. Okay.
This isn't related.
It was like
right? There's something about this language.
I don't know. It could be there is. I'm not sure. Okay. The im lo shav, next halacha. The im lo shav el b'mini signuso. Now you can do the voice. If he only did tshuva when he was old. And at a time when it is impossible for him to physically do what he did before, that's the case of kishlon koach, of weakness. Even though it is not a superior tshuva, mo'elas hilo, it is effective for him, meaning it works. Ubal tshuvahu, and he is a bal tshuva.
We're not about Teshuvah Gemurah.
We're not about Teshuvah Gemurah. Yes.
At the very least, I know we haven't finished, but this does sound like it is getting towards some sort of why he meant Teshuvah Gemurah first. Is that if he can explain like what the paradigm is, and he can then go from there to like smaller, more particular details.
Okay, I think that's a good track. Yeah. I have a similar approach, but a little more wacky. Yes. Yeah. So that's the other thing. Also, by the way, is based on the Rambam, would you say that Teshuvah Me'ula is synonymous with Teshuvah Gemurah or not? No, right? So Teshuvah Gemurah is this thing of you get into the same situation and you refrain because of Teshuvah. And then Teshuvah Me'ula is just a term of like ranking your levels of Teshuvah. Like you could have like Teshuvah Me'ula in other cases that have nothing to do with Teshuvah Gemurah. Like there's better Teshuvah and worse Teshuvah.
What does Me'ula mean literally?
Literally a superior.
Okay.
Yeah, like Allah.
More on the most superior.
So I don't know. That's the other thing also, because there's another term we use in davening that's not Teshuvah Gemurah. Which is another question I have. Is that the same as Teshuvah Gemurah? Teshuvah Shlema, right? So Teshuvah Shlema, is Teshuvah Shlema the same as Teshuvah Gemurah, or does Teshuvah Shlema just mean you do the full Teshuvah process, but not Gemurah, Yeah, and these sound like as Rindy said, pikayun questions, like medacte questions. But I think Rambam is exact in his lashon, and like he's trying to establish a lingo of Hilchos Teshuvah. All right, let's finish the halacha. Afilu avar kol yamav. Even if he transgressed all of his days, va'asa teshuvah b'yom misasa, and he did teshuvah on the day of his death, we'll finish. Umeis b'teshuvasa, and he died in his teshuvah. Kol avanos of nimchalin, all his iniquities are forgiven. Okay, now up until now, I thought he was talking about teshuvah on this one chet. Doesn't it sound like though he's talking about like doing teshuvah on all your sins? Like
I'm not sometimes you can on everything.
Yeah. I mean, so the question is like, how did the Rambam go from talking about a case of doing tshuva on one sin to all your sins being forgiven? Is he just giving the most extreme case? Like you were a complete avarian and you violate all the averos, and then you do tshuva on everything before you die.
It seems like
Yeah. So that's possible. Yeah.
It sounded like he was saying, like he was giving an example, but per case, like even if you did a sin for your whole life, but that applies to all sins.
Okay, so you could read it that way also, but it is weird that he puts in all of your sins are forgiven. I mean,
If you just do tshuva on one.
yeah, that I feel like he can't mean that, right? He can't mean that. You're saying like it applies to all sins, like this principle of being able to do tshuva. Yeah.
Another way of reading. Maybe hold on, was in that sin.
That could be also.
Over and a lot.
That could be right. He transgressed all. That's probably the smoothest reading. He transgressed many times on this one avera, like he had bia isser many times.
Right.
So kol avonosav, all of his iniquities of those transgressions are forgiven. Okay, I think that's the smoothest reading.
Not work if you have to like spell the specific date. Say like on all of my arrivals.
Well, I think that.
Yeah, I mean, you first of all, you can do that if you are not able to be specific,
Right.
and you can do it categorically.
But
Yeah.
also it's interesting that it seems like this case, if you were to ask what is Teshuvah Gemurah, it might sound like this, that like it's the complete Teshuvah of everything.
Yeah, that's another good candidate,
stuck
right?
Rula in there just to like.
I reformed all my ways, right?
Right, just to like, I guess he's maybe stuck Rula in there to like, show the similarities between the two.
Yeah.
That, like it's a similar process.
Yeah,
And then, and the situation, but then also he didn't want you to think that Teshuvah Gemurah was like this.
yeah. Okay, that's possible. All right, let's finish the halakha and then summarize our questions and then try and answer them tomorrow. So he says, Shnemer, as it says, as it says, before the sun, the light, the moon, and the stars become dark, and the clouds return after the rain, Shu Yom HaMisa, which is the day of death. Michlal, this implies that if he remembers his creator and does teshuvah before he dies, he is pardoned. Okay, now just a couple other things to note here. This is I didn't know this earlier. It's interesting how he associates Zechiras HaBoreh with tshuva, right? He's saying that when the pasuk says "remember your creator in your youth," that's talking about doing teshuvah, and he says that here also. So we have to understand that. How is remembering your creator tantamount to connected to tshuva? Secondly, and this really bothered me this morning, this is also the first time in all the Hilchos tshuva the Rambam has used the words slicha or mechila. Okay, so we don't even know what those terms mean. Right. And what term does he focus on a lot in the first parak? There is an effect beyond the kapara, and there's no mention of kapara here. So like this is like on a separate track. So let's just summarize what we're thinking about here. And we haven't even gotten to the definition of tshuva yet. Maybe we have to do that tomorrow. Okay. Yeah. All right. So the plan will be to go over the definition of tshuva tomorrow, but let's just crystallize our questions. One is, why does he start off with defining Teshuvah Gemurah before he defines tshuva? Second, what does it mean that he refrained because of the teshuvah? Third, basic question, which we didn't even verbalize, why does it have to be all the same circumstances? Okay. 4 is the classic question. Okay, which anyone know the classic question on Teshuvah Gemurah?
Oh, how do you, I think, what if you do it again?
That is a classic question. That's just not the one I was thinking of.
What if being in a situation caused you to violate it?
Okay, related to that, which the question is, that's what he's saying is, do you have to put yourself in that situation? My question is more primary, which is, do you have to actually be in the same situation for it to be Teshuvah Gemurah, or is this just like the litmus test? And theoretically, like in other words, like this. Let's say you do an avera with a woman, okay, and you do perfect teshuvah, and then she dies. Does that mean that her death precludes you from being able to do Teshuvah Gemurah because now you can't be in the situation again? You know, or is it just that if you got into that situation again, you'd be able to see whether you like passed the test or not? You know,
with another one.
Yeah, it could theoretically be with another one.
Well, you just spell out. It's like the same mucko.
Yeah, right. It is. Yeah. So I've riders both ways. But maybe we'll talk about this. Yeah. In other words, let's say you never get into the situation again, right? could it still, like from God's perspective, so to speak, can we say that you did? Okay, all right, fine. We need to read the next halacha, and then what is the Chiyus Bore and yeah, okay, all right. We got to work it out for us for the week. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. We'll start off tomorrow. Lean over the next halacha.